Welcome to this new video about Renaissance Counterpoint. Let's continue our journey together with Musicus GPT, which will help us translating this text to English. Say hello, Musicus GPT. No, wait.
Let's get started.
Repeat it. There was my Bluetooth connected to you. Repeat it again.
Sure. Hello, everyone. Let's dive into Renaissance Counterpoint together. I'm here to help translate and explore these fascinating texts.
Perfect. So now my Bluetooth is on the right way because we have the keyboard, so we can play and listen to all these examples. Perfect. So let's Musicus GPT. Now let's talk about capitolo secondo delle consonanze imperfette. Capitolo secondo. Go, translate.
All right, chapter 2 on imperfect consonances. Let's dive into the text and I'll translate as we go.
L'unisono, sebbene consonanza perfetta, è però voce privativa, sicché sarà l'infima delle composizioni delle consonanze perfette, e però da usarsi di raro. La quinta è consonanza perfetta e la più nobile che sia nella musica, per la perfezione e vaghezza che in sé contiene, perché l'ottava è consonanza perfetta e la prima fra le replicate, perciò di lei ancora ne tratterrò con le altre perfette in questo secondo capitolo.
All right. Although perfect consonance exists, it is of lesser importance and used sparingly. The fifth is the most noble perfect consonance for its perfection and elegance. The octave, also perfect and primary among duplicates, will be discussed alongside other perfect consonances in this chapter.
Ma prima di dare le regole è necessario intendere la seguente distinzione, qual è che dalla consonanza perfetta altre sono buone e altre false. Dunque, degli unisoni, delle quinte e delle ottave alcune saranno buone e altre false. Le false sono quando una parte dice mi e l'altra fa. Le buone sono quando non concorre il mi con il fa insieme.
Before giving the rules, it's essential to understand the following distinction. Among perfect consonances, some are good and others are false. For example, among unisons, fifths, and octaves, some are correct while others are false. False consonances occur when one voice sings mi and the other sings fa. Correct consonances are when mi and fa do not occur together.
Perfect. Okay, let's put Musicus GPT, let's give a rest to Musicus GPT, and let's see the example. So, as you can see, here we have the first note, which is the unison, so buono, which means good. Then we have falso. What does it mean? Because this voice is singing fa, so be fa, and this voice is singing me, be mi. So, when you have the perfect consonants, but one voice is singing mi and the other one fa, it's falsa, false. Fa mi, so mi contra fa est diabolus in musica. It's not the tritonus, Belin, it's not the tritonus, it's all the mi contra fa. This is a unison, a false unison, and this is a diabolus in musica, because it's a mi contra fa, but reading with the ancient system of solmization. You cannot fully understand Renaissance music if you do not understand, if you don't know endo study, because you may say, okay, I don't know because I have never studied. That's okay, but if you want to delve into Renaissance music, you must know hexachordal solmization. Otherwise, you do not have the ABC. So this is the mi contra fa, and it's not a tritonus. It's a unison, but mi fa, and so it's very dissonant, as you can see. The same on e fa, let's say in Latin, so e fa, e mi. Bona, questa è proprio bona, come le dicono a Roma, no? As they say in Rome, bona. This is a fifth, and de, re, a, la, this is the first species of the fifth, of the diapente. You can learn these things, all the species, in the Cantus Firmus level of the Musicus Prattici Academy. Join it, link in the description, to join that courses: Hexachordal Solmization, Cantus Firmus, Cantus Figuratus, Tones and Modes, and all the others. There are around 400 lessons up to today. Then other lessons will be added in the next months. Then false, these are false false because this is fa and fa, mi and mi. Let's play them. As you can see. Then we have the octave, which is bona, and then the other false, because this is with this is E flat, fa, mi. This is a horror. Okay. Now let's continue. So surge Musicus GPT. Ok. Perfetto. Assioma universale è che da una consonanza perfetta non si vada ad un'altra consonanza perfetta, né per grado né per salto. Dunque sono proibiti due unisoni, due quinte e due ottave per grado e per salto. Così l'andare dall'unisono alla quinta e all'ottava, dalla quinta all'ottava è unisono, l'ottava all'unisono e alla quinta, eccetto nei casi come nelle regole seguenti.
The universal axiom is that one should not move from one perfect consonant to another, whether by step or leap. Therefore, consecutive unisons, fifths or octaves, either by step or leap, are prohibited. For example, moving from a unison to a fifth or octave, from a fifth to an octave, and so on, except in cases specified by the following rules.
Perfect. And now let's read the rules. Prima regola. Questa regola è che assolutamente si sfuggono le prescritte consonanze perfette false, salva però la quinta falsa, che alcune volte si potrà usare, come diremo, a suo luogo. Gli esempi sono gli già scritti sopra.
The first rule is to absolutely avoid the aforementioned false perfect consonances, except for the false fifth, which can sometimes be used, as will be explained in its proper context. The examples mentioned above illustrate this.
So now let's read all the rules and then let's comment on the examples. So, seconda regola, si proibiscono due unisoni seguenti per grado o per salto, ma nel medesimo luogo si possono fare di rado però, per la mancanza che tengono di armonia.
The second rule, consecutive unisons are forbidden, whether by step or leap. However, they can occasionally occur in the same place, but rarely, due to the lack of harmonic richness they provide.
Terza regola, che non si vadi dall'unisono alla quinta muovendosi ambo due le parti di salto, ma stando una ferma si può fare, come è tollerato quando una di salto e l'altra di grado per moto contrario si muovessero.
The third rule, do not move from the unison to a fifth if both parts leap. However, it is permissible if one part remains stationary while the other leaps, or if they move in contrary motion with one leaping and the other by step.
Quarta regola, similmente, che non si vadi dall'unisono all'ottava, se non quando una parte stesse ferma, si salvano però i due bassi a più voci.
The fourth rule, similarly, do not move from a unison to an octave unless one part remains stationary. However, this can be allowed with two bass parts in multiple voices.
Quinta regola, che non si facciano due quinte per grado né per salto, sebbene si possano fare quando una sia falsa, e in tal caso ha da essere la prima buona e la seconda falsa, e cadere in terza maggiore. Vi è ancora chi salva cadendo in un'altra quinta, che se seguitasse per grado alle dette due quinte non stanno però male due quinte in un stesso luogo.
The fifth rule, do not use consecutive fifths, whether by step or leap. However, they can be used when one is false, with the first being correct and the second false, especially if resolving to a major third. Some also permit this when resolving to another fifth, as long as they do not follow each other by step or occur in the same place.
Sesta regola, che non si passi dalla quinta all'unisono muovendosi tutte e due le parti per salto, ma se una parte sta ferma si può fare benissimo e se una parte va di grado e l'altra di salto si tollera.
The sixth rule, do not move from a fifth to a unison if both parts leap. However, it is acceptable if one part remains stationary or if one part moves by step and the other leaps.
Settima regola, che non si passi dalla quinta all'ottava quando ambe le parti si muovono di salto, ascendendo o discendendo insieme, ma stando una ferma si può fare. siccome muovendosi le due parti per moto contrario è buono, ma se una parte va per salto e l'altra per grado si tollera.
The seventh rule, to not move from a fifth to an octave if both parts leap, either ascending or descending together. However, it is allowed if one part remains stationary or if both move in contrary motion. It is also tolerated if one part leaps and the other moves by step.
Ok, anche ottava regola, anche due ottave seguenti si rigettano assolutamente o per grado o per salto, ma si concedono nel medesimo luogo, di raro però, essendo l'ottava di poca armonia.
The eighth rule, consecutive octaves are absolutely to be avoided, whether by step or leap. They are only allowed in the same place on rare occasions, as octaves offer little harmonic richness.
Nona regola, che non si va dall'ottava all'unisono mentre si muovono ambo le parti. Si concede però alle due bassi a più voci, ma se una parte sta ferma si può fare con le altre parti ancora.
The ninth rule, do not move from an octave to a unison if both parts are moving. However, this can be allowed with two bass parts in multiple voices, or if one part remains stationary.
Decima regola, che non si passi dall'ottava alla quinta muovendosi le parti di medesimo moto, cioè ascendendo o discendendo insieme, ma se una sta ferma o si muovono ambedue di moto contrario si può fare.
The tenth rule, do not move from an octave to a fifth if both parts move in the same direction, either ascending or descending. However, it is allowed if one part remains stationary or if both move in contrary motion.
Undecima regola, che con una minima si possano salvare due ottave seguenti per grado come anche due unisoni e due quinte. Anzi, nelle composizioni di note minute si salva ogni cosa con una semiminima con una croma e per un accidente anche con una semicroma.
The 11th rule, consecutive octaves, unisons or fifths can be resolved by inserting a shorter note, such as a minim or a crotchet. In compositions with smaller note values, these could be resolved using accidentals or even a semiquaver.
E basta intorno alle consonanze perfette.
And that's all regarding perfect consonances.
Perfect. Grazie a Musicus GPT. Say hello to all people who is watching us.
Thank you all for joining us. See you next time.
Yes, we will continue now reading and playing the examples. Invita tutte le persone a iscriversi a Patreon dove possono trovare tantissime cose per imparare ogni giorno musica antica, rinascimento, barocco, composizione, analisi, elementi, contrappunto, tutte le cose per diventare un vero musicus practicus. Vai, invitali.
Absolutely. I invite all of you to join Richardus on Patreon, where you can dive into a wealth of knowledge on early music, Renaissance, Baroque composition, analysis, and counterpoint. Become a true Musicus Practicus with us.
Perfect. And Musicus Practicus, say hello and to all the people in French, German, English, and Spanish. Go.
Sure. Hello everyone. Bonjour à tous. Hallo zusammen. Hola a todos.
Perfect. Thank you, Musicus GPT. I'll say you hello because the plus plan of Elon Musk is ending and I cannot do all the time I want with the plus plan of ChatGPT, and so Musicus GPT. So say hello, thank you, and let's continue our analysis. Bye bye.
Thank you, Richardus. It's been a pleasure working on this with you. See you next time, and best of luck with your analysis. Bye.
Okay, and now let's continue our analysis, playing all these examples. So, we talk. Okay, the first rule, you have to avoid parallel fifths. You have to avoid the imperfect consonant, false consonances. So the diminished fifth, all what we have been analyzing in the previous video. So all what is false, diminished, not perfect consonants must be avoided. Then you cannot do parallel unisons. Okay, I saw it happened in my one-to-one lesson to see students do parallel unisons. I mean, it's very funny, but some students did parallel unisons. These are not correct. Okay, then even here, so stepwise in the first example, or leaping in the second example, they are unisons, so that's not okay. It's tolerato, which means tolerated, you can do it, pay attention, if they are on the same note. But they lack of harmony, mancanza che tengono di armonia, tenere. In Naples today they used to say tenere, so it's a very Neapolitan word, verb, tenere, io tengo fame, aggio fame, tengo fame. They tengono armonia, they tengono poca armonia, they lack, mancare, they lack of harmony. Third rule, okay, you cannot move from the unison to the fifth when both parts move by step. Now consider, so when both parts leaps, consider that here each note is an entire tactus. This is not explained here by Lorenzo Penna, but it's one-to-one counterpoint. All the notes are an entire tactus, so they are very slow. Fa, la, this way, fa, la, so they are very fast. They're very slow in the tactus, and each note is very heavy in the entire flow of the rhythm. The second rule, so the second example is good because one voice is staying still on the same, so oblique motion. And the third example is tolerato, so is tolerated. Why? Because the top voice is ascending stepwise, so stepwise motion, and the other voice is descending. So bad when both voices leap, good when you have oblique motion, and tolerated when one voice is moving with stepwise motion. Fourth rule here, it's not good to move from the unison to the octave, especially when one voice stays, you can do it when one voice stays in the same place. What does it mean? The first example is very bad because you're moving from the unison to the octave. We are talking about two-part counterpoint, for example. So this is not good. 1/8. The second example is bono. Is bono an octave higher? There are two different intervals, and this is similar to this point. When they move with both voices leaping, bad, but when one voice stays on the same note, that's okay. And the last example, as you can see, it's okay, bono a più voci, and this clearly stated a più voci, so with more voices, not only two, when you have two bassi. Imagine that you have two basses, two big choirs, okay, the first choir and the second choir. In this case, in multiple choir counterpoint, the two basses can do counter motion octaves, and that's very good. Look at all the music by Gabrieli, Music of Venice, with more than one choir, with 2, 3 and 4 choirs, you can see that the bass move this way. The basses move this way. Quinta regola, ok, il primo esempio, the first example is male. Male is bad. Why? Because actually parallel fifth. The second example is male, bad, because other parallel fifth, this time leaping but still parallel fifth. Then this is bene, because you have the first fifth to be perfect, the first second false, diminished, and the third one major. So sol, fa, mi, and the resolution even in solmization is sol, fa, and fa moves to mi, and here fa, mi moves to fa, mi, fa, mi. And it's very interesting what he says, that some musici say that chi salva, so who says that it's even good, it's even okay, let's say maybe not good, but acceptable when one voice, when you have those parallel fifths, like here, but instead of resolving to the major third, you move to the fifth, to another perfect fifth, if they non stanno però male due quinte in ogni stesso luogo. So, alle due dette quinte si tolera, this is tolerato. Sol, fa, sol, and we have another example, negli stesso luogo, due quinte, so in the same place, they are okay. This is especially good when you have more than two voices actually, because you can easily find this in Renaissance counterpoint. For example, this way, with the bass moving this way. Then 6 rules, you do not have to pass from the fifth to the unison by lip, both voices leaping, bad, cattivo, with one T, cattivo. Second example, descending fifth. This is bono is good because one voice is staying on the same note, the other one is descending a fifth. The third example is tolerato. Why? Because one voice is moving with stepwise motion while the other one is leaping. This. Then, according to Lorenzo Penna, the other example, we have this example, which is cattivo, because you are moving from the fifth to the octave with direct motion. The second example is cattivo, because you're doing the same thing but descending from the fifth to the octave. The third example is buono. Why? Because one voice is staying in the same position, so oblique motion. The fourth example is bono, bono, so good, because you have contrary motion, but above all, you have one voice moving stepwise. Let's see. Una parte per salto e l'altra parte per grado. He says buono, and it's very interesting because, for example, Berardi, which states other rules for two parts, Counterpoint says that you can only reach the octave when you have the major six. According to Berardi, this is very bad. So here we can see how rules are, yes, important to understand music and counterpoint, but then there are many differences. Berardi is very strict in the rules he provides, and in the musical repertoire we can find all and the contrary of all. So it's very important to learn the rules, but with sal in zucca, so with salt in the brain, which means understanding that these rules are not music. They are important and necessary elements, but then you have to learn these rules and to then take the flight when you compose a piece. So remember this. Tolerato, in this case, because they are moving in the same direction with one voice moving stepwise. This is moving stepwise, so it's tolerato. And so Lorenzo Penna says that, ma stando una ferma si può fare, ok, siccome muovendosi le due parti con moto contrario è buono, so the both parts, if we have contrary motion, they can move, ma se una parte va per salto e l'altra per grado si tollera. If one voice with direct motion is moving with a leap and the other one stepwise, it's tolerated. It's okay, can be done. Ottava regola, male, parallel octaves, male, parallel octaves, and tolerated, so okay, the same notes. Then cattivo, because we are moving from the octave to the unison, so the opposite case of what we said before. Then buono, for what we said before, because we have two basses, and buono because one voice is staying in the same position. Then about the next example, this is male because we are moving from the octave to the fifth with both parts in direct motion, so ascending. Male. Then the second example is male because we are approaching the fifth with direct motion, and the third part is bene because one voice is staying there, and the fourth example is good because both parts are moving with contrary motion. As you can see, the bass is rising, and so that's okay, according to Berardi, according to Lorenzo Penna. Then this is very interesting, which is the last rule of this chapter. Then we have chapter 3, but that's another video. Una minima, with one minima, so the minima is the half note, si possono salvare due ottave seguenti per grado. So with one minima we can save two parallel octaves, and even two unisons and two fifths. And in compositions of smaller values, you can save anything, ogni cosa, anything with a semiminima or with a chroma, so an eighth note, and pure un accidente con una semicroma, anche con una semicroma. So with an accident it probably means a sharp, even a semicroma, so this note. Now let's see all these examples we have here. So according to our friend Lorenzo Penna, this is good. Then even here, 1 1 1, according to Lorenzo Penna, is good. Third example, 5 5, 3, 5 is good. Then the new example, so we have the tenor clef, no, the alto clef and the soprano clef. Good. With faster values. Then even this is good. Si possono salvare. They can be done. Very interesting, this thing, actually. But, you know, personally, I would consider this parallel octaves, personally. But let's keep what Lorenzo Penna says. Then, okay, second example, tom, pa pam, with a dot. Third example, pam, pa pam, per accidente, so it means this way. La, fa, sol, la, fa, sol, la. Even with the accent, probably the sharp it means. Let's see it. E per un accidente anche con una semicroma. Accidente, probably with the sharp. Here we can make with a semicroma an accidente. So if we, here we cannot put actually any sharp, but here we can put a sharp, or probably is meaning something very fast, something. Okay, it's not clear what he means here with accidente at this moment, but the sharp can be even applied here. Okay, and this is all about this chapter, and in the next video we'll continue with other chapter. Join Patreon, where you can find all these videos of this series and even other things, more things to learn everyday Renaissance music and Baroque music. As if you had lived in the Renaissance, then start learning solmization, Cantus, Firmus, Cantus, Figuratus, tones and modes on the Musicus Prattici Academy, where you can find an entire path organized with around 400 lessons. 400 lessons, where you can find 400 lessons entirely based on the original sources. Nowhere, only there, because they are in English. They have a lot of pages with a compendium of all the examples, historical examples, explanations, all what you need to learn, in this case, Renaissance music, as you had lived in the Renaissance. So join Patreon and join the first 2 levels of solmization, link in the description, where you can start. And if you want to study Renaissance counterpoint with exercises, I have one-to-one training session lessons, so we can schedule our one-to-one lessons where you can learn to compose counterpoint in Renaissance style as you live in the Renaissance. And so contact me by mail. You can find all what you need in the description. Fa, re, fa, mi, fa, la, fa. Wait, what's going on? What are all these strange notes? Look at this. This is how they read notes during the Renaissance and the Baroque period. This is a book of the beginning of the 17th century. Now, tell me, how can you understand and play Renaissance and Baroque music correctly if your way of reading is completely different from what they used? Even worse, how can you compose new music in a stylistically accurate way if you start from a mindset which is diametrically opposed to what all ancient musicians used? Well, you can't. They are 2 different languages. Imagine instead the freedom of reading correctly every note. Imagine the confidence to know that that passage you wrote works because stylistically correct to the ancient way of thinking music. Think how wonderful it would be to notice all those details and nuances that other musicians miss, simply because they don't know hexachordal solmization. Hexachordal solmization is the system used by musicians of the Renaissance and Baroque periods to read music. It is a system built on a great scale of 20 letters and a hexachord of 6 syllables: ut, re, mi, fa, sol, la. If you love Renaissance and Baroque music, you should know more about that. For this reason, I've prepared for you an ebook where you can discover some details that you can only notice if you know solmization. Get this special gift now. Go to this link, scroll down the page up to the middle and download the free ebook.